Hello? Is anyone out there? Okay, I am making the world's best coleslaw. This is a new recipe. There's no fat and it's so delicious. It's just so good. And I made it the other night for the first time and it was so good. I just ate 3 big bowls of it for dinner. I didn't eat anything else but coleslaw. It was just so good. I tend to do that. I find the thing I really like and then I OD on it and then I don't want it anymore. But I enjoyed it, and now I'm going to make it for you, and my husband and I will have it again tonight. It's really tasty. So what I wanted to show you is how to eyeball the amounts, because if you don't have a scale, how do you know if you have a pound of cabbage? We're going to start with the ingredients. It's a pound of cabbage, and what I use is a combination of green and red. See, it's mostly green. I usually do mostly green cabbage and just a little bit of red. The red's about the size of a slice of bread, if that helps you, and then you can see how much more, so you can eyeball it that way. And when we're done shredding it, we'll measure it that way in case that helps you better to know, in case you don't have a way to measure that with a scale. So I've got my pound of cabbage. I use a half of a sweet pepper, and I don't like to use the green pepper. I like to use a yellow, an orange, or a red pepper. I just think they taste a little nicer with this. It's not so strong flavored. So a half of a sweet pepper. And that's what goes in. Oh, and then the sections of 2 oranges go in there, which is kind of neat. So I already have in my bowl, I have the sections. Oh, it's kind of, there we go. That's 1 orange in sections. I'm going to show you another way to get sections out of an orange that's different. So when we get to that point. So that's what's in the salad, and then we'll make our dressing afterwards. And since I wanted to show you how much cabbage to start with, I do need to shred it. But I'm going to do it in my food processor, which of course goes very quickly. And I do it, my food processor actually is adjustable. It's a KitchenAid brand, and it's nice because I'm able to get really fine shreds if I want it. I'm not putting it on the finest, but it is on it's a little finer than medium shred, okay? So let's get this started. I'm looking for my plunger. You know, I always think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Okay, here we go. And this won't take us long. We'll just get this shredded up, okay? And I'm going to put my pepper through there. I'm going to let the pepper get sliced too, okay? That's it. Boy, that's easy, isn't it? These things are great. I like it because it can cut it a lot thinner than I can do it by hand, and I like my cabbage thin in coleslaw. I just find it easier to eat if it's thin. And it gave me a full container here. All right, now we need to measure this to find out. So if you're having to just shred your cabbage and not have a way to weigh it, I've got a 1 quart jug here, a 1 quart measuring cup, and let's see. This has the pepper in with it too, but that's not much. Okay, that's 4 cups. It looks like it's going to be 6 cups all together because this looks like 2. Well, maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's closer to 3. Yeah, okay, so 7 cups of shredded cabbage all together is what you would use if you can't weigh it. There we go. And it does make a nice big bowl full. Single serving. those of us who like our cabbage. And you know, cabbage is really, really good for you too. And now I can't remember any of the benefits of it, but it's really, really good for you. It helps with your brain. It helps with your heart. It helps with your digestion. It's got cancer fighting properties in it, heart disease fighting properties in it, Alzheimer's fighting properties in it. I mean, it's you can't beat that. Anything from the cabbage family, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, they're all really, really good for you. So anytime you can get some, you want to get some of one of those vegetables at least every day, at least once a day, if not more, okay? So anyhow, so not only is it tasty, but it's good for you, which is why we're here together, because I want you to have things that are good for you. Now, I had that one orange in there, and all I did was I cut that one, you know how when you cut an orange up into smiles, and then I took the smiles, and then I just cut, I had it down on my, well here, can you see? Yeah, you can see. It's kind of small, but I'm just trimming like you would cut the flesh out of the watermelon. I'm just cutting that little smile out of the skin. And that's one way to do it. And this is okay. You know, it's fast, which is one reason why I like it this way, but I'm going to show you the way I prefer to do it. It takes a little bit longer, but you end up with, you don't have any membrane. In cutting the smiles like that, we have the membranes in, you know, between each little section on there. This is a way to not have that, okay? So now what we're actually going to do is cut the skin off the orange. I know that sounds goofy, but it doesn't take long. I just cut one end, and I'm going to cut the other end. We have a little glare today, don't we? I've not had that before. Okay, so there. Then I just lay it flat on one of the cut ends, and I start cutting down. Can you see that? Almost. How about if I go here? Okay. I wish you were closer, then you could see better. Just cutting right down the side, just trimming that off. And it's fast, you know. It didn't take long to do that. Get a little bit of that membrane off, the white stuff. There we go. So here we have an orange. It's all I'm trying to get out of the glare. Why am I having glare today? I don't know. Trying to I got all that skin off. Now I'm going to come around and I am going to give you a close-up of this. See if that cuts down on the glare. All right, here's our orange, and you can see the little sections in there for each membrane. I'm going to cut down on inside the membrane. Oops, it's juicing all over. You see there's a nice section of orange and no membrane on it. I'm going to do that again here. Get my bowl here. I do it over my bowl because, you know, you got juice running out of it. You don't want to lose that good juice. So I'm going to put that in. This is awkward showing it to you and doing it, but when I'm doing it myself, it's easy. There. Oh, and there's a seed. I'm going to get that seed out of there. All right, so now you've got the idea. I don't want to keep doing that and take the time. When we're done, I will come back. Could you see that one? Was I holding it too low? One more. It helps if your knife is sharp. There. So I will come back and finish that when we're done, but you've got to see how to do it. So you have your coleslaw with all your orange sections in it. I use the two colors of cabbage because it's pretty. Now for the dressing, this is the juice of a third orange. So altogether this recipe calls for 3 oranges, 2 in the salad and 1 juiced, okay? And that is equivalent to about 5 tablespoons or 1/3 of a cup of orange juice, okay? It's close enough. 1 juice of an orange. And then the juice of half of a lime. And I'm just pouring that in my little bowl so I can mix it up. And then it's 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, which I have here. There. And then 2 tablespoons of liquid aminos. You could use a soy sauce if you wanted, but I would use the liquid aminos. I'm not putting it in today. and I'll tell you why. Because if I have too much salt, it affects my blood pressure. This has salt in it, and when I pigged out on my salad the other night, it bothered my blood pressure, so I'm not putting any salt in it today. But it tastes really good. If you can tolerate it, put it in, because it makes all the difference. 2 tablespoons of the liquid aminos, okay? And then 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. There we go. And then, this is like the secret ingredient. This is the one that makes you go, ah, because it tasted so good. Where is it? Oh, it's ginger. It's fresh ginger. If you don't have fresh ginger, I would substitute maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of dry ginger. Okay, I wouldn't put any more in than that until you taste it. It might have too much kick. In fact, try with 1/8 of a teaspoon first and then taste it. You want to be able to taste it a little bit, not knock your socks off with it. And dried is a lot different than fresh. Start with 1/8 of a teaspoon dry, then go up to a 1/4 teaspoon if you think it needs it. But my preference would be what I'm using, and that is 1 tablespoon of fresh grated ginger. And what I did is I took a nub, I cut a chunk off my ginger root. You can see about how big that is. It's about the size of a really big grape, okay? And I peel it. To peel it, you have to like cut the outside off. I trimmed the outside off of it. And then I have a really small grater called a microplane, or if you have a box grater, that one always has a side on it that's small, and you can do that. And it's a lot. And then if you go down, it's kind of woody ginger, and it has fibers that run through it. And you want to go with the fibers, okay, with the grain. It'll grate easier that way. And I think this is going to give me about a tablespoon of ginger. And boy, does it taste good in there. It really gives it a nice flavor, nice sparkly flavor. Now, if you liked my cooked coleslaw, not coleslaw, my cooked sauerkraut recipe, that was a vinegar and maple syrup sauerkraut, Gerson sauerkraut. If you haven't tried that, you really should, because that is absolutely fabulous. It's nice for the fall and the winter to have that warm cabbage, and it's really good using it on top of, like, I would scoop it and eat it on top of a baked potato. Some people just like to eat it as a vegetable. It was just so good. This is what I would consider the raw equivalent of that, because that was such a good recipe, and this one is so good. But it's raw. It's different, gives us variety, right? All right. We're all grated here. And that looks really good. You see how it's on the back of it there? It didn't give me a whole tablespoon per se. Let me see. Oh, I'm getting close. Yeah. And then the stuff that didn't go through. Okay, there's my tablespoon, and I'm putting it right into the dressing. That's it. That's a pretty simple dressing, isn't it? Let me just check my recipe and show you. Okay, 1/3 cup of orange juice, 2 tablespoons of liquid aminos, 1 tablespoon of fresh ginger grated, or 1/8 of a teaspoon dry, 2 tablespoons rice vinegar, the juice of half a lime, and 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. There you go. And then we just pour this over our salad. Oh, it smells so good. The ginger, the lime, and the orange. Well, everything just works out so nicely together. And then just give it a good mix so that everything gets coated. After I'd eaten, like all the cabbage out of this, and there was all this stuff left over, it was almost like a marinade that was left over, the dressing that was down below. I ended up slicing some thick slices of tofu and putting it in the dressing and letting it marinate in the fridge overnight after that. It was really good doing that too. So I got double use out of that dressing. Because you know how when you get done taking this out of the bowl, there's always liquid down underneath. It doesn't necessarily cling, which is why I thought I could get away with eating the soy sauce. Oh, yes, it does smell very good. I know, we were talking about we need smell-o-vision so you can see how it smells. It has a very light, refreshing smell because of the citrus and the ginger together. Okay, that looks really good. All done. See if you can see that. Let's get up there. It almost looks like coconut, doesn't it? Looks like ambrosia. Let's try a little bite. Oh, and the pepper's in there too. Yeah. I like that ginger. Very tasty. I have to admit, I miss my liquid aminos, but I have to be good today. If you can have them, go ahead and put them in, okay? All right, that's it. I hope you enjoy this recipe and that you get to try it soon, because I think you're going to be in for a real treat, okay? And you know, leave a comment down below if you want. It's always nice to hear from you. All right, I think that's it. You have a good day. Thanks for stopping by.